Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we'll be talking about the film The Flash. Fun fact, the Barry Allen version of The Flash made his debut in 1956 in the comic Showcase Volume 1, Number 4, and was the second Flash after Jay Garrick. This movie came out in 2023 and stars Ezra Miller, Michael Keaton, and Sasha Calle, and was directed by Andy Muschietti. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. The Flash follows Barry Allen, aka The Flash, who is on a mission to travel back in time to prevent his mother from dying. He succeeds in saving his mom, but because of this, changes the course of the future in ways that he did not plan. Now Barry must decide if he wants to stay in this world or live in a world without his mother. The Flash is a superhero multiversal movie. It has similar vibes to Flashpoint Paradox, Back to the Future, or Man of Steel. Ezra Miller did a decent job as the Flash in this film. When I think about, let's say, the drama that was behind the scenes with Ezra, I find it shocking that one, they aren't in jail, and two, that this movie still got released. I was thinking about how it must feel to put in so much work on a film, whether you are behind the scenes or in front of the scenes, and then to see the star of that film being a menace to society and bringing the film down. I hope that the victims of their crimes are healing. Sasha Calle did a great job as Supergirl in this film. I had never seen this actress before, and I was impressed with her taking on the role of such an iconic character and making it her own. I love that she was super strong in this film, but not strong enough to take down Zod because she didn't have years of practice because she was being held prisoner. Even though she wasn't as powerful, she fought hard trying to stop Zod, which proved that Supergirl is a good alien. One thing I feel DC always does correct is the superhero outfits. I feel like they aren't afraid to make sure that the colors show while also keeping them pretty close to some iteration of that suit in the comic books. With all the different superheroes, it was impressive to see them do such a good job on the different outfits. This movie had cameos, but I feel like it's a little overpacked with too many cameos. I will say I enjoyed the Nicolas Cage cameo because I've heard the rumors of him almost playing Superman in the 90s, so it was cool to see that come to life on the screen. However, I will say that the cameos from Christopher Reeve, Adam West, and George Reeves were weird considering that all of these people are dead, and I truly believe we should just let the dead rest. I thought it would have been more beneficial to have cameos from, I don't know, the two living people who have played the Flash in live action, Grant Gustin and John Wesley Shipp, or even maybe use it to show other shows and movies from the DC in the past and how they were different universes to show that some of these characters won't be coming back because we will be focusing on a different universe now. It just seemed like, hey, let's just add these people in here, and will we explain it? We really won't. And will it have a significance to Flash fans? Most of them probably not, but maybe one of the cameos will. I just really think that the scene could have been better for a movie that is focusing on the Flash. It feels like DC doesn't have faith in any of the superhero movies outside of the Superman movies, the Batmans, or the Wonder Woman films. I'm not saying that I haven't enjoyed these characters on camera, but I've realized that in all of the DC films, they seem to make a cameo or play a big role, often overshadowing who the film is actually about. I mean, this movie might as well have been called The Flash, Supergirl, and Batman. DC has some of the best comics and the best stories, and I think that they really should let these characters shine without adding all of these cameos from the big three to kind of overshadow these main characters. There is plenty of Flash comics to pull from, and I would have loved to see it more focused on him and a villain that is one that is his own nemesis. The effects in this movie were weird because at some points I was like, wow, this is really good. But in some other scenes, I was like, wow, this is so bad. There was a scene where the Flash was saving some babies, and I was watching and I was shocked at how bad the CGI was. Some of the scenes looked like the budget was running low or they rushed it, and I was just shocked that they kept that in the movie. Also, his running when they show him in, going super fast just looks very goofy. The comedy in this movie was good. I thought they were able to nail that aspect of the film to lighten the mood. They hinted at the Black Flash as a potential villain towards the beginning of the film, but he doesn't really come back until the end of the film, and we finally get a little bit of his story, but they wrap it up so quickly. There was so much hyping up this Zod fight, and he didn't really seem like a villain for the Flash, but more for Supergirl. I wish they would have focused more on a villain that was a big threat to the Flash and really build on that villain throughout the movie. In the comics, the Flash has some arch nemesis, and it would have been great to see them in a film that centered around the Flash. The Flash goes back in time to save his mom from being killed, and that was great and all. But the question I had was really who killed her in the first place, but also if him going back in the past prevented his dad from having to go to the store while his mom was being killed, then another question would be did the killer still come to their house? Because if both of them were there, how, like, what happened with this killer and who was the killer? Did the dad stop the killer? It just feel like the question behind this mysterious killer just was never even really brought up. There's actually part of a Flash comic where the Reverse Flash kills his mom, and I thought that would have been interesting to see that on screen. And then that could have been used as like a birth of an arch nemesis. But instead, we see her get killed, but they never bring up who it is. And even though that death haunts Barry, so much, they just never really focus more on that. They just kind of shift gears into focusing more on what's going on with Zod once, we find out that his mother is alive. My favorite part of this movie was seeing my favorite Batman, Michael Keaton, make a return. He was funny and really brought the nostalgia with his Batman. I'm glad that they kept the gothic style of his mansion and even kept all of the crazy stuff we had seen in his house before in the older movies. When we first take a trip to Wayne Manor, we even get to see the iconic Batman music from the 1989 film. Keaton killed this role in the 80s and he once again killed it in this movie. The Flash is a movie that is truly a mixed bag. It has an interesting story with lots of action and some funny scenes, but also feels very overcrowded and sometimes it doesn't even feel like a Flash film. If you haven't seen The Flash, and I would say check it out and see if you think it's worth the hype. Thank you for watching my video. I would love to hear your thoughts down below in the comments. If you have not subscribed, please do so you can keep up to date with more of my videos. But besides that, everyone stay safe, have fun, and goodbye.